Good evening, guys. I think we can start. Good evening, everyone. This is Rakesh. Hope you all are staying safe. Know how a series of knowledge sharing sessions, webinar in the cybersecurity domain to educate others, spread awareness, and bring out new opportunities to beginners by Rootecstak. Our goal is to bring out as many security researchers as possible and give clear guidance in the cybersecurity domain. We are back with an interesting webinar topic, Android penetration testing today as our episode 2, collaborating with OWASP Tiruvallur chapter. Thank you everyone for your interest. We will be conducting knowledge sharing sessions like this every week. Do support us and share the same with your friends. Today we are having our speaker Abhay Kumar. Abhay Kumar is working as an associate security engineer at Castellum Labs, Hyderabad. He completed his BSc IT at Lovely Professional University. He is holding a certified ethical hacker professional certificate and he often explores new things in tech. He is interested into the Android application security part. For most of the people in cybersecurity, exploring in Android security is still difficult. Today, let's see in on the topic Android security testing. Over to you, Abhay.
Yeah, thank you, Rakesh. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining this Android security testing webinar. Okay, so this webinar is about how we can conduct a penetration testing on any Android application, or how we can get a pair what is the loopholes we can get into this Android penetration testing, and how we can submit any vulnerability to any security organization and a company. Okay. Okay, so myself, Abhay Kumar, I'm from Bihar, and currently I'm working as at Castellum Labs, Hyderabad. Okay, so let's get started into Android. So Android is nothing but it is an operating system based on the Linux kernel. Okay, so if everyone has know what is the and a Linux operating system. Linux is nothing but it is a open source operating system. Okay, and for security testing, for security conduct penetration testing, we use a Linux operating system. So nothing like Android is based on the Linux operating system. So next is Android is open source platform. Everyone can contribute your development and development into this community. Okay, and this Android has their own virtual machine to execute the application on their platform, that is DVM, that is Dalvik virtual machine. And for Dalvik virtual machine, now they had upgraded as a ATM, like a Android runtime. Okay, so next is Android architecture, how this Android architecture look like. Okay, so you can see here Android architecture how any application layer. Okay, so let's see in the web application there is a front end, back end, a database, APIs. Okay, so in Android there is firstly the kernel, a Linux kernel. So any drivers that you need for running any application, there is a camera application, so you need that driver, that a support to run that application to on that platform. Okay, next one is the hardware. So hardware if you are using camera, so camera you need the hardware of the camera device, a audio microphone you need. Okay, if you are you are using Wi-Fi, so you need NIC. Okay, so these are the hardware abstraction layer. Then coming to libraries. Library is nothing but for running this a camera, Bluetooth, GPS, any Wi-Fi, we need libraries. Okay, if you are using any any application, okay, so they need libraries, so UI. Okay, to learn in a user interface. Okay, then WebKit. Then for securing that communication to the layer, we need SSL. Okay, for audio management, we need for audio communication, we need audio manager. Okay, then coming to this application framework. So let's see in the application there are the application needs to be run on the platform. They need too many resources to be fulfilled. There is a contact application, so contact application, they need a storage, they need a phone contact access, they need your phone setting, make a call. Okay, this type of setting, then a framework they need to run. A contact application needs activity managers also. Okay, the UI, the Windows manager. Okay, Then coming to the up top layer, that is like a application, the main application. That is the like a home screen that you are seeing, the SMS app, the browser, the camera. Okay, everything that is the form into the application. So to run that any application, we need these layers. Okay, so firstly like a Linux layer that support the to run that application. Then coming to like a hardware, that mean libraries and application framework. Okay, so here like a Android runtime, here like a the application will run. This is the like a platform where application can execute and you can use that application. So let's see, like any developer has like a making their application, so they are running into their interpreter or compiler. Okay, so here to run this application into Android phone or in any phone, we need like Android runtime. Okay, okay, so how any Android application look like? Okay, so any developer has like a make the script. Okay, so let's see, the Java developer has developed a Java code. Okay, that is the extension of like a .java. Okay, then Java code like we have been compile it, and it's going to be converted into bytecode, that is called .class file. Okay, so after like a collection of bytecode files, we called as like a dex file, like a class files. Okay, collection of too many bytecode files is called delvic, like this is called class file. Okay, and the collection of like there is one Android manifest file. In this manifest file, you can see like their configuration of that, like what permission that Android application need, what type of UI, like a activity components, okay, they need to run that application. Okay, so all the configuration into the application, they need to be, that will be on the android.manifest file. This is, we can say, like the configuration file of the Android application. Okay, and then coming to next is like a resource file. Like in the resource file, if you are running any application, so you can see on the UI there is some icon, there is some text box pop-ups, like ringtone on the background. So there are the resources to run that application to like onto that platform. That is like these are the collection of any Android APK. And if we can combine this all, you can see there is a and APK file, .apk file. Okay, so if you want to see like what is the content inside this application, you can decompile the application, you can compile, and you can install into your devices. Okay, so coming to next app components. Okay, what are the app components? Like how we can understand this, like what are the, like we can say, like there are four pillars of like a Android application. Okay, so these four pillars is like a activity, okay, content provider, services, and a broadcast. Okay, so firstly coming to this Android activity. So activity is nothing but the UI, like you are using Android phone. Okay, so the UI that you are seeing into the screen, that is like a WhatsApp, or you are using WhatsApp. Okay, so on WhatsApp, like there is a chat box. Okay, that is there is a one what we can say, a chat box and a call button. Okay, everything that a UI that like you are interacting with. Okay, that is the activity. Okay, then coming to content provider is nothing but like they're storing some data into the local repository, and they're supplying their data to run that application properly on that platform. Okay, then services is nothing but to run that application proper on that platform. To there is like a Wi-Fi services, like a background process services. Okay, then there is a like some Wi-Fi location services. We need that application to be run successfully on that platform. That is called services. Okay, we need. And then is a broadcast receiver. Broadcast receiver is like nothing but to communicating between two application or internet. We need broadcast into that application. Okay, then what we need for this Android testing, like what is the requirement? Okay, for doing a, okay, so till now anyone have any question? Please drop a question.
Guys, if you have any questions, you can unmute your mic and ask, or you can ask in chat section. Feel free to interact with the speaker so you can get your doubts clear.
Okay, like the requirements, like what requirement we need for the any Android testing. Okay, firstly we need any emulator. Emulator is nothing but like a virtual Android device that will run on your Windows environment or Linux environment. That is, we can take example of Android Studio or Genymotion. Okay, anyone you can take it. Okay, then next one is ADB. ADB, like these are the collection like ADB, JDAX, APK tool, objection, Frida, Drowser, and DB SQLite, like then Bobsuit. So ADB is used for like a communicating with. Okay. ADB is nothing but like it is a tool utility that you can use for communicating with the tool. Like there is the Android application and there is a your environment. Okay, the local the environment from where you are doing the testing. Okay, so like a ADB, from ADB you can connect to your Android device and you can run the like a commands, like you can install any application into your Android emulator or devices. Okay, you can push and pull, like you can retrieve some file, you can fetch some file, you can push some file into that Android devices. Okay, you can intercept the request. Okay, you can forward some requested to any specific port. Okay, you can connect to that, like from ADB connect, you can connect to that devices. Okay, so let me show you how ADB is look like. Okay, so I'm using Mobile Xr operating system for doing any Android testing. Okay, in the Mobile Xr you can find all the collection of tools like that you need for the testing. Okay, that is a Bobsuit, JDX, JDUI, Frida, Objection, Browser, everything that you need. But your everything you need for the doing the testing, you can get it from this Mobile Xr operating system. Okay, so let me go into. Okay, so I have turned on this ADB into my, and this is nothing but my emulator where I'm running the Android applications. Okay, to doing the testing and like to do a connection. Here is my local operating system, and here is my Android device. Okay, so from here I can do a connection into my operating system to push any file or like to do the testing. Okay, so I will do ADB connect. Okay, connected. Okay, so now I'm into this Android application. Okay, if you can see, like this is the Android application, but here you can see this is the, like I'm into the directory of that Android application. I can navigate into this that Android application. Okay, in directory. Okay, file manager, and this is the rooted device. Okay, so I can go into that and go into the root folder of that application where you can't go, like the normal user, they can't go without rooting their devices. Okay, so to root the application, you can use any third-party application to root your devices. Okay, okay, so here you can find some interesting resources using like ADB cell. Okay, so I will get back to here like in few after few slides. Okay, okay, so this is about ADB, like ADB. Everyone got, like if anyone have question about ADB, please drop. Okay. So coming to Drowser, Drowser is nothing but it is a like a utility, or we can say like an application. So it is used to do the testing on like in any application, like look like a application, but you can interact with that application using Drowser to do the actual testing. Like there is a activity. Okay, so you want to do the testing on activity or components, you can use Drowser. Okay, so Drowser is an intermediate, like you can invoke any activity using Drowser, and if it got invoked successfully, then it is exploitable. Okay. So coming to the type of testing into Android, there are mainly two type of testing into Android. Like the first one is static and the second one is dynamic. Okay, in static you don't need to like too much to interact to that application. Okay, it's like firstly you need only application to do the static testing. In static testing you can do reverse engineering and everything. Okay, in the dynamic testing you have to interact to that application. You means like a runtime, do the testing onto runtime. Okay, so in a static testing, we have like a reverse engineering to that application, insecure certificate signing, insecure permission handling. Okay, someone.
You got a question in the chat
Hmm.
section.
Yeah, yeah. Money. Yeah, you can like someone has like if we are doing a testing on any application, so owners knows like firstly we can take a permission to that owner. If there is the open source, we can do the testing and we can report it. In sometime he knows or in sometime not don't know. It's depend like if you are doing like a black hat like a black hat testing, then he don't know. Okay, if you are doing like a gray like a white box, then he knows. So in the static testing, like we have like a reverse engineering. You can do like going back to the application, how they develop, how they construct the files and everything. Then secure application signing. Then permissions. We have to test for the permission they require to run that application on the platform perfectly. Okay, then coming to like in the static testing, we can do the testing, do the analysis on manifest file. Okay, we can check for insecure data storage. Okay, in data/data directory. Then we can check logging, like a log, like if we are doing anything on any application, they are maintaining some logs. Okay, or in log we can see like if they are logging some interesting like a credentials. Okay, if we are logging into logging, if we are on logging screen and we are logging with our credential, if they log that credential into log file, so anyone can get access to that log file and get access to your account. Okay, so we have to look into that log files. Okay, for insecure data logging. Then exploiting for debuggable applications. Okay, then component exploitation. And now coming for one by one on this. Okay, so in reverse engineering, you can take you can do the lack of obfuscation. Okay, lack of obfuscation means like if we have a application, okay, if we are able to see that source code, okay, of that application. So if anyone can see that source code and like it can be used, it can be getting used into like a don't tell legitimate way, like it's going to be used by hacker. They can make a clone of that application. Okay, so we have to obfuscate our application with like with hashing or something algorithm. Okay, so I will show you how we can check for the like a lack of obfuscation into the into an application. So for checking for lack of obfuscation, we can use JDAX. Okay. Okay, so here you can see I have insecure bank version 2 application for testing. Okay, so if you can go into this in directory like the configuration file. Okay, if you are able to see the like a source code into the plain text, that is not obfuscated. If like if someone has obfuscated their source code, you can't see like in this like the proper text format. Okay, some hashing, some slashes, commas, like a collection of like encoded values you can see. Okay, so we have to obfuscate our application into this. Okay, to check the lack of obfuscation. Okay, then checking application is able to decompile or not. Okay, for checking application is decompile or not, we can use like a APK tool to check is application is able to decompile or not. If anyone can able to decompile the application, they can install any malware or any spyware tools into that, and it will they can send it to you. Okay, for doing this like Okay. Okay, so like for decompiling any application, we can use APK tool. Okay, D for decompilation, and here is the application name, the browser agent, the application version. Okay, this is the application. So now if you okay, so now I have press enter. Like the application is got started decompiling. You can see here I got the file. Okay, so it's decompiling the manifest file, resource file, okay, dex files, okay, class files, everything is decompiling. Okay, so if we can decompile, I am into the application root directory. You can see all the things inside this application. I can there is a user guidance. Okay, so I can see this user guidance also, how to use this application and everything they have put into inside this application. Okay. Okay, so application in build consists of a obsolete file. Now, if you have seen like we got some like a user guidance file. Okay, so like this, if we got some like a credential files, okay, some confidential file into that application, so we can say like that is like a construct of obsolete files. Okay, then coming to unauthorized code modification. Unauthorized code modification, if you are able to decompile that application, okay, and like if you are able to decompile that application and you are doing you are manipulated that source code. Okay, you have manipulated the source code and you are you are compiling that application, you are sending back to anyone, okay, with your signature. So they can understand, like they can only get to know this application has from that legitimate one. Okay, I can install it. Okay, so this type of reverse engineering from reverse engineering you can do. Like you can do the modification into the source code and you can do the further test. You can report it. Okay, any question in this reverse engineering? Decompiling is ethical. Yeah, we can say, yeah, decompiling is ethical, but doing modification into this, like that is unethical. Okay, so next one is like insecure application certificate signing. Okay, so any application in this like a whole Play Store, they have their own certificate. Okay, so if you want to check the certificate of their application, you can in the resource, you can application signature. Okay, in the application signature you can see every data that the application has like attached to, like a certificate from subject, from where the application is, what is the services from where, everything like the public key, SAR value, everything they can attach into this certificate. Okay, so if like if someone has decompiled that application, this signature is going to be changed. Okay, that is going to be manual. Okay, you can attach your own certificate or signature into that application and you can upload it, okay, anywhere. Okay, so that is that we have to check it for. Okay, so we don't have like a modify checking for insecure application signing. Okay, you can add your own certificate inside the application. Okay, from like if someone has mind like a question like what is the meaning of certificate. Okay, so in the certificate, like the identifier of that developer or that organization. So if we have developed a whatsapp application, inside a whatsapp application there is a certificate. Okay, so in certificate like they can say like this application is belong for from my side only. Okay, this legitimate organization only. Okay, and you have decompile it and you have attached your own certificate, that is going to be something called GB WhatsApp. Okay, okay. Insecure permission required. Okay, so if you have seen like there's many application like they are using unnecessary permission from you. Okay, so let's see, there is a flashlight application, and that flashlight application is asking you for like give a permission to your contact, your location, your what your chat, everything they are asking. So tell me, like, what is the scenario here? If the flashlight application, if there is a flashlight application, you can understand flashlight application only need two or three things. Okay, they need hardware access they need a software access, or they need like if anything else, like a mainly to access like a hardware and software access. Okay, so if like what is the thing here, like if application is asking for contact, there is no need to give access to like flashlight application to contact. They are not going to like touch us on like on the all of contacts. Okay, so these are the insecure permission requested by the user. Okay, so they can like if you have given the access to the contact, they can read your contact, or they can do the advertisement and stuff from this. Okay, then coming to this android.manifest file. Okay, android manifest file.html. In this, like we can say this is the configuration file. I have previously told you this is the configuration file of any android application. Okay, so if you can see in like if you can see proper manifest file of any application, I will show you first. Okay, if I have any application. Okay, cyber I have. Okay. Okay, so in this file, like you can see here inside the resources, you can see manifest file. Okay, so in manifest file, you can see this is the Coursera is nothing but a study learning platform. Okay, so they can provide the courses and like stuff. Okay, so the business logic behind the application and the permission, everything they are asking, that is going to be matter here. Okay, so if you can see, they have mentioned everything here, the permission, the user permission they need for that application. They need internet access, they need system alert windows, they need like a document access, they need modification into setting, audio setting. Okay, so they need these type of settings. Okay, if they need like some unnecessary settings, okay, let's see like if there is a course application, so why they need the permission of like making a call. Okay, so if they permission, if this application is asking for making a call, there is no meaning here, like why they need like making a call permission to for any a study learning platform. Okay, so that is the unlegitimate one. Okay, okay, so if you can see like in this like in this is the manifest family. Okay, this look like manifest file. Okay, this is the structure. Okay, so in manifest file you can see like firstly you can check for backup is set to true or not. Okay, so if you can see here in the starting of that in code, if you can see like here the backup. Okay, you can do control F. Okay, backup is equal to true. Okay, so see here, Android allow backup equal to true. So in this, like if the application has like made it like Android allow backup equal to true, anyone can like you have connected with the that application, and you want to back up the data. Anyone can back up your data. That is like if you have if you have some resource, the application is storing some data into that application, some configuration file, some like some data into that like a data/data folder, they can back up. Okay, so using this android backup, if the true, if it is true, they can back up. If it is going to be false, they can't back up, they are not able to back up. Okay, so same as here like a okay, so here you can see there is the okay, here you can see like a clear text traffic. Okay, so here you can like this is going to be a clear text traffic, means like if you are communicating with the server. Okay, if you are communicating with the server and from the server, and like the traffic between like if you are logging into the application and like a login credential getting logged into that like intermediate like a mediator, so you can see that traffics into plain text. Okay, so that is like a set to true. If if they have implemented some SSL and certificate to like a doing the hashing, converting into the request into that, if you then you are not able to see. Okay, Then next, debuggable is true. Okay, if the debuggable is true, then you can do the like a debug the application. You can run any application inside that, using that application into that platform. Okay, activity is exported is equal to true. Okay, so if any activity, okay, let's see if there is an activity. So how we can identify any activity with the with the this tag. Okay, activity tag. So if you can see here, any activity is exported equal to true. You can, if there is an Android application. Okay, so here is any one Android application. There is, this is a one UI. Okay. Come. Okay. Okay, this is one UI into that application. Okay, so in the configuration file, into main page file, you can see any like a for login screen, you can see any activity. Okay, you can see. So from browser application, you can invoke it. Okay, and you can run it. Okay, from directly from the second application. Okay, if it is invocable, if it is like a activity equal to true, exported equal to true, then only you can do able to do. Okay, if it is able to like a enable like exported equal to true, or you are using the browser and invoking, it is not able to invoke from browser, then it is not exploitable. Okay, so this is the UI. Okay, you are trying to invoke it. Okay, like if the activity is equal to true, so same as like in the activity. Okay, then services, if the services is exported equal to true, then you can try to invoke it from the browser application. Okay, then broadcast, if there are like a broadcast like communicating with us in that application. Okay, and like you are trying to invoke some services, something into that application. Okay, so from browser, if it is able like exported equal to true, then you can use browser to exploit it. Okay, if it is able to like you are able to run the broadcast services into that application. Okay, that is a vulnerability. Okay, then coming to content provider. Okay, and starting I have told you like in the content provider, nothing but a database. Okay, so if the content provider, you can run a query into the content provider. Okay, if you are able to see the data, okay, data and some set preferences file, anything into this that from browser, you are invoking from browser. Okay, so you can see, yeah, like a you can like exploitable like in this content provider is like going to be critical vulnerability. Okay, then searching for API keys. Okay, so some developers, what they did is like in the manifest file, they are hard coding some Firebase API key, some Google Map API key, some like like a private API keys into the like into the manifest file. So we have to look into it. We have to check for this in API key into the manifest file also. Okay, any question, guys? Okay, so now coming to insecure. Okay, how to do automation around this. uh Ravi Teja, like I didn't get you this how to get automation around this, like for doing the whole Android testing automation way, or like what? Okay, testing the manifest file, we can do the automation. Yeah, we can do the automation. There is a tool that in the internet, on the internet, like there is the automation tool, like you can use regex to automate this. Yeah, move safe. Okay, Pulkit, migration. What is migration? Can you come again? Pulkit? Okay, so okay, we can change to false. It's because secured, right? Yes, it got secured. If we are if we convert it into false, and if it is not able to invoke, okay, like if we have in the manifest file we have converted into false, and if it is still able to invoke it, then it is a still a vulnerability. Okay, false and true is nothing but they are showing like if it is only like in that you can you can invoke or not. Okay, you can like you can control that activity services into the from the second application or not. They are making configuration. Android manifest file is nothing but a configuration file. In configuration file only we are showing like what we are going to configure into the any Android application. Okay, yeah, insecure data storage. So in insecure data storage, like this is some critical vulnerabilities we can find out in these categories. Okay, so firstly coming to insecure data storage in shared preferences. Okay, so let's see, I'm into an application. Okay, so in like a shared preferences, nothing but they are storing some XML files. Okay, some configuration file, some logs. Okay, how to identify bot programming into the application. Okay, didn't get you this question, how to identify bot programming language into. Okay, so like from the application, sorry, uh, let me open. Okay,
Abhay, if you want to take Q&A in the last, we can do the
hmm.
same. We can try to complete the session because we have
Okay,
20
okay,
minutes left.
okay, okay, okay. We can do the QT session. Yes.
Sure, carry.
Is my screen visual, guys?
Yes.
Yes, Abhay.
Okay, okay. So if you can see, this is the root directory of any application. Okay, so I have told you like if for checking for doing the testing of like insecure data storage into any application, you can like there is the data directory. Okay, in any Android application. Okay, so let's go into the data. Okay, so inside the data there is one more data application. Okay, data folder. Okay, okay, so inside this data, okay, you can see like all the packages. Okay, inside that application installed into your application, you can see here, you can see all the configuration like packages. Okay, so let's say like I have one application, there is like one plus a store application. Okay, so I will go inside this. Okay. Okay. Okay, so here you can see there is a shared preferences directory. Okay, so these are the directories like you can find out into any applications, like any application root directory. Okay, that is like a web view application cache, database, backup. Okay, database folders. Okay, and shared preferences. If you can go inside these shared preferences, you can find out this XML files. Okay, so in this some of the XML files they have hard coded some API keys, some configurational data into this. Okay, so if you want to do like if you, okay, okay, let me cat that file setting. Okay, okay, so there is nothing in this file. Okay, let me do cat another file, share preferences. Okay, let me do cat this file. Nothing is there inside this. Okay, set switch. Okay, so if you can go like a like a same way, you can go into the any application, you can find out some like a confidential data into the shared preferences. Okay, directory. Okay, so next is insecure data storage into database. Okay, so if you can go into this like a I'm in shared preferences now. Okay, so there is a database directory also. So if you can go into this database directory, you can see like a DB file is there. Okay, so if you can see there, here is the DB file. Okay, there is one more DB file. Okay, here you can cat that file, or you can export that file into database. Okay, and you can take a look into what they are storing into database folder. Okay. Okay, then insecure data storage in temporary files, like there is a temp file, and they are storing some like a temporary files or confidential file into temporary file. So that is going to be vulnerability. Okay, so then next is like insecure data storage in SD card and internal storage. Okay, so like if the application they are storing some data into the SD card or external internal storage, that is not like your permission, or like that is like a confidential data of the user, they're storing into like home directory of that application, of that device, so that is going to be a vulnerability. Okay, then data logging into log file. Okay, if you are logging into any application and you are able, you got some, you got logged into that like a screen, you got logged some confidential data, login data. Okay, some user ID and password, mobile number into your log file. Okay, that is going to be a vulnerability. Like a application is able to log the data, confidential data, into log file. Okay, so then next is exploiting a debuggable application. Okay, so here you can see there is a like a ADB application. I'm doing ADB into some devices. Okay, then here like a here it is making a permission of run as. Okay, run as a command for in the ADB, and here is the package name, any application package name, and we are invoking any application as like this application is exported like a debuggable true. Okay, so we are running that application from ADB or from a cell. Okay, and this application give like a like a no error, it's able to run. Okay, if the application is not exported equal to true, debuggable equal to true, if we can use that command, after this like it will show permission denied. Okay, so that is the power of like exploiting debuggable applications. Okay. Okay, then coming to component exploitation. Okay, so component exploitation you can do from browser. Like if the browser is a application that behave like a application, and you are, and that is the vulnerable application, you can invoke the services from browser and you can do the exploitation. Okay, so in component exploitation comes like a directory browsing, content provider like a file traversal. Okay, so back checking for backup data. Okay, data extraction equal to debuggable, invoking activities. Okay, invoking services from browser, invoking broadcast receivers, content provider, like it's going to be a critical vulnerability if it is spoofing and intent spoofing validation bypass. Okay, so these like a high critical vulnerabilities if you are able to do from the component exploitation. Okay, so take now any question, guys. Anyone have? Okay. Then coming to dynamic testing. So for doing the dynamic testing on any application, okay, you need like application to runnable into that in device. Okay, if the application is able root detectable, then you have to bypass the root detection. Okay, for doing the bypass the root detection, you can use like a expose framework to bypass that root detection into any Android device. Okay, or if the like let me show you the emulator. Okay, so here is the emulator that is that will come with the all the necessary tools for the testing, for Android testing. That is like a MUM, like a just to operating system come into. Okay, so here is the exposed framework come for doing the bypassing the root detection of any Android application. Okay, so if you can see here, I have installed like some dependency to bypass like a root clock. Here this is for like a bypassing the root detection. It is named root clock. Here we have SSL unpinning. Okay. Okay, so for if you want to install any application into the Android device, okay. For example, when we play round circle, how to check opponent bot or human, how to decompile identify. Okay, see, like a bot is set of rules. Okay, so they can't behave like human. They only like they only react like a, they have set of rules. They have one set of rules. The human has made it. Okay, so there is a limitation with a bot. Okay, so how you can identify they have embedded like a bot is running on the server. If their samples or codes code present into the source code into that application, you can identify they are using bot. Okay. Then if you are able to install that application into any Android device, then you have to you have to bypass the SSL pinning. SSL unpinning is nothing but developer has their implemented a security framework into that application. Okay, so the security framework is that level if I'm a security researcher or there is a black hat hacker. Okay, so they want to. Okay. Okay, just curious, what will be next step if you identify that? Okay. Okay, so if any like I have installed the application and now I want to do the some black hat testing onto that application. So what developer has done is they will install a certificate into that application. Okay, so that certificate is nothing but like a certificate validation will going to happen with their server. Okay, so that there is a certificate there is a certificate installed in your device. Okay, in your application. Okay, and there is one certificate into their server. Okay, if that certificate got matched, then only the communication will happen. Okay, that is the level of security the developer has implemented for bypassing this. Like we will do SSL unpinning. Okay, so what we will do for SSL unpinning, we will tell that application to react like a react as like a they are using we are using same certificate they have implemented. Okay, or we can remove that certificate from that from HTTPS from the source code. Okay, and we can implement our own certificate. Okay, then if you are able to do the root detection bypass and SSL unpinning, now the every dynamic part like if there is a web developer like web penetration tester, the same vulnerabilities you can do from this. Okay, so there is next is SQL injection. You can, if they are using any database for login storing the data, okay, you can invoke some you can put there some queries into the input fields. Okay, and you can exploit it. Okay, from the from the suit you can intercept the request and you can do. Okay, then cross-site scripting. From the cross-site scripting you can do the like reflect some you can retrieve the cookies, you can redirect any user to any application. Okay, then you can do like a brute forcing into OTP brute forcing. If there is a login screen into the application, okay, and login is like you are entering a mobile number and a pin. Okay, that is coming, so you can do the OTP brute forcing also. Okay, you can intercept that request. Okay, and you can intercept that request and you can save into repeater or intruder, and you can repeat that request many times, 100 times, 1,000 times. Okay, if we are able to get 1,000 plus and 100 plus OTP into that from that server or mobile number, then it is the OTP brute forcing we can do. Okay, lack of authentication, we can try to bypass the authentication. Okay, from SQL injection or from LDAP, from XML. Okay, then OTP expiry of if there is a login, if let's see there is application and they have generated one OTP. Okay, so if you can see like a some of like a companies like a WhatsApp, if you are trying to log into the WhatsApp and if you like a 6-digit OTP generated, they can only tell you like this OTP is valid for 10 minutes. Okay, if some developer or some companies that what they are doing, they are storing that validating that OTP lifetime. Okay, so that is level of like a OTP expiry type of vulnerability, like that OTP is not getting expired. Okay, if it is going to be like from any bad hat, okay, so they can access your accounts. Okay, improper error handling. Okay, for improper handling, improper error handling, if there is a running application and there's some error, unlegitimate error you got. Okay, so like server error, something unnecessary error you got, so that is like improper error handling. Some credential you are able to see like into that error, some server disclosure. Okay, so that is improper error handling. Okay, so I've told you like a SSL unpinning is nothing but like a MITM attack. Okay, we can say. Okay, if you are not implemented SSL, like you are not doing SSL unpinning, you will got this error. The client failed to negotiate as SSL connection to the example that URL. Okay, that website twitter.com 443 retriever failed, alert certificate unknown. Okay, this error you will get into the Bob suit if you are trying to intercept any unnecessary SSL unpinned application. Okay, then how to do SSL pinning? Like if there are three type of doing like bypass, how we can do? We can reverse engineering that application, and we can check where they have implemented that certificate. We can remove it. We can install our own certificate. Then we can try to bypass. Then second one is expose framework. From expose framework, we can do that same thing that I have shown you. That is we can do. Okay, use of obfuscation and frida. Okay, frida is nothing but a framework or like a utility that you can install into that application, and you can put that package name into the frida, and you can try to bypass the ssl pinning of that application. Okay, so like how to use this frida server, you can do the adb pool from adb's adb file, like frida server file. You can change the permission. Okay, you can do the adb shell, like you can execute this frida server file. Okay, then this if you are able to execute, then you can do. If you can want to bypass that package name, you can do. Okay, from objection you can do. Okay, same as like objection dash d and like a package name. Okay, and you are able to bypass. Okay, from the frida server and the objection. Okay, then coming to automation of like a android testing. Okay, so you can do use mobosep is nothing but a like open source tool. Okay, that is developed by azan abraham. Okay, like from this mobosep you can do the like a static testing, whole static testing from mobosep. There is a dynamic testing also, but like the static testing is like a more efficient in mobosep. Okay, and MoSafe will come into like a Windows, Linux, and iOS. You can test these three applications, these three, and now ThinkLight application also, like a web application, Play Store applications also, Microsoft Play Store application. You can test from a MoSafe. Okay, so how you can configure the MoSafe? Like you can git clone that repository. You can go inside this repository. Okay, you can do a setup.sh. Okay, and you can run that server. Okay, and you can upload that file into the server, and they will give you the output file. Okay, with the some vulnerabilities they found it, some regular expression and everything. Okay, anyone have any doubt till now? Okay, thank you. Over to you, Rakesh.
Uh, Check out the comment section. Few people are, I think, asking questions, or else we can wind up. Just guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. The session is
Hardik is asking, is the Android bug still good?